What's good, fam? Let me hit you with some real talk. Drake ain't just cruising through the rap game no more like he used to. Nah, recently the vibe switched up heavy. It's like he tried to make some big moves, but instead caught mad heat from everywhere. Got folks questioning if the throne he been on for years might be slipping. Yeah, you heard that right. The dude that's had the music industry wrapped around his finger is suddenly dodging clout snakes and lawsuits, and the blowback from his ongoing beef with Kendrick Lamar is real enough to make a whole generation rethink how they're seeing both these giants. And trust me, it's messy and wild, and it ain't over yet. Now, if you thinking Drake's just chilling with hits and flexes, nah fam, the Kendrick beef put the whole scene on edge. This one's deeper than no Drake diss track we've seen in a minute. You got Kendrick dropping bars that seem to cut personal, and then Drake firing shots that aren't just about music. They're about legacy and respect in this hip-hop game. It's like watching two kings throw down not just for the crown, but for the soul of the culture itself. But get this, what really stoked the fire was when the backstory started leaking. Details about industry moves behind the scenes that ain't looking clean on Drake's side. Kendrick's crew even came with receipts, accusing Drake of schemes that could put his own credibility on trial. And that's the thing. The lines between music beef and real business fights got way blurry, with lawyers and contracts suddenly in the mix. What started as bars turned into courtrooms, and the public caught in the middle, watching everything unfold like the biggest reality show in rap. Speaking of courts, Drake's not just fighting Kendrick. He ain't playing around with Universal Music Group, UMG. You'd think with that much power behind him, he'd be chilling. But nah, man, he went on the offensive and sued UMG for defamation. Crazy, right? It's like a heavyweight battle, but with a pen and contract pages instead of fists. This lawsuit is about some serious allegations. Drake's claim is that UMG straight up tried to sabotage him by promoting lies about Kendrick's track, Not Like Us. According to The Buzz, they say the label was behind some shady moves to manipulate public opinion, turning fans and industry heads against Drake to boost Kendrick's name. Now, I'm not saying this is gospel, but the way the story's been unfolding, it's clear this ain't just a simple case of bad blood. There's bigger forces at play, and the whole music industry might feel the shockwaves if everything Drake's saying turns out true. Plus, it's got folks asking questions about how labels play puppet masters, pushing or pulling strings to make or break artists. That alone is a cold reminder that behind the flashy lights and platinum plaques, the rap game is still chess, packed with moves you ain't seeing on stage. But yo, even with all these battles in the court and streets, you can't front on what Drake's done when it comes to chart runs. The man's been smashing records like no other. 400 weeks in the Billboard Hot 100, top 10, that's crazy. That's not just success, that's domination. But here's the kicker. While he's been setting those milestones, his recent absence from the charts got folks raising eyebrows. After the Kendrick beef blew up, suddenly Drake's hits paused. Fans started wondering if this was the start of a bigger shift. Like, was the drama affecting his vibe, or was it the industry pulling back? You'd expect someone with his clout to just bounce back faster, like he always does. But nah, this time the silence was loud. It sparked debates on Twitter, TikTok, everywhere, with people saying maybe the backlash is realer than the stream suggests. And that's the wild part. The numbers don't lie, but they also don't tell the whole story. So the question now is this just a temporary merit for Kendrick and the culture, or AL piling up for Drake's reign? Now, dropping heat ain't the only thing that matters. How you drop it and what comes after counts just as much. So let's talk about the music itself. Drake didn't slow down from the drama though. He went straight to work with projects like Some Sexy Songs For You, teaming up with Party Next Door, bringing his usual blend of introspective vibes mixed with flex-heavy tracks. But here's where it gets interesting. While some fans dig the smooth sounds, others say this collab feels more like Drake playing safe, trying to recenter himself rather than pushing the culture forward. And then there's the buzz about his upcoming solo album, Iceman, which folks are hyped about, but also low-key skeptical if he still got the magic fire or if he's just riding on the old glory. The early tracks leaked online have people split, some saying it sounds like he's trying too hard to regain that clutch energy. Others think it's him evolving and shaking off the drama vibe. So it's like, is Drake doubling down to prove the doubters wrong, or just filling space till the next big move? We gotta wait and see, but the reception so far has been one of those mixed bags that got folks glued to the Iceman countdown. But man, the wild part about all this is how the fans be reacting. On one side, you got the diehards who ride for Drake no matter what, dropping comments and memes like crazy to hype their guy up. On the other side, there's those who ain't shy about calling him out, making jokes, and throwing shade everywhere they can, especially on social media, where the Kendrick versus Drake saga turned into a whole meme fest. Some folks started thinking this feud isn't just about rap anymore. It became a cultural event, like watching two legends battling to see who's the real king of this new era. The social buzz got so heavy, it sparked debates on who's the bigger W for hip hop's future. And that's wild because just a few months ago, Drake was untouchable in most eyes. Now it feels like fans are split, loyalty war going on in comment sections, and you gotta wonder if this split will heal or widen as things progress. This social drama might be as important as the music because it shapes the narrative that defines hip hop's next decade. You feel me? This story ain't just about what's popping now, it's about what's next. Drake's future is on the line. He's juggling lawsuits, delivering music, all while the world watches to see if he's still the king or if the throne's shifting under his feet. The moves he makes in the next year or so could either solidify his spot or start a new chapter in hip hop without him at the top. But what's real is Drake ain't the type to fold fast, so we're gonna see how he flips this script. Will he come out swinging harder than ever, or is this the moment where the torch passes quietly? Either way, it's one of those moments that's gonna be talked about for years to come, shaping how we remember these two legends and the era they lived through. All right, fam, before I dive deeper into these layers, hit that like and subscribe. You already know the deal. Stay locked in here to catch the full breakdown, the sides that media won't tell you, and the real heat behind the headlines. Let's get it. Yo, let's talk about those legal battles, because that's where things start to get real messy for Drizzy. So, remember when he dropped that lawsuit on Universal Music Group, aka UMG? Yeah, that move had a lot of folks shook. Drake went full-on beast mode, accusing UMG of defamation, claiming they tried to sabotage his rep by pushing wild rumors around Kendrick's track. Not like us. Like he straight up said the label was pulling strings, trying to stack the deck in Kendrick's favor. That right there is a whole new type of fight. Ain't no bars or verses. It's contracts, lawyers, and courtroom flexes. It's rare to see an artist go against their label publicly like that, especially Drake, who's been with major labels all his career. But this lawsuit tells us something deeper. It's not just personal beef. It's a power struggle behind the scenes that could change the game for how labels treat their artists. Now, I know some of y'all might be thinking, nah, there's gotta be exaggerated hype. But peep how these allegations put a spotlight on some shady industry tactics we usually don't get to see. If UMG really tried to manipulate public opinion by spreading bad vibes about Drake, that's mad toxic. It makes you wonder how many other conflicts out here are fueled by quiet moves behind closed doors, not just what we see on the surface. The whole situation also pulls Kendrick into a different light. His camp's been quick to toss receipts, accusing Drake of playing dirty in other ways too. So what started as two artists trading lyrical shots turned into a full-blown war of who's telling the truth and who's trying to sneak one over on the culture. This legal back and forth has the industry buzzing, and it ain't just gossip. It might legit shake how contracts and artist loyalty play out in the future. But here's a wild fact for y'all. Despite all this drama, Drake's still one of the all-time chart kings. Let that sink in. The man's clocked 400 weeks in the Billboard Hot 100 Top 10. 400. That's insane dominance over more than half a decade. You don't just get numbers like that by playing around. It's consistency, hits, and a whole lot of fan base loyalty. But then something weird happened. After the Kendrick beef blew up, Drake's presence on the charts started to dip. Not gone, but definitely less saturated. Fans on Twitter and TikTok caught on quick. Suddenly, the guy who once seemed untouchable was quieter in those top slots. Folks speculated if the negative energy from the feud messed with his streaming or radio play, or if the label drama was cooling his run. This opened a bigger conversation. Does beef hurt an artist's streak or just feed the fire? And right now, it looks like the heat might be burning both ways. Now, switching gears to music releases, Drake ain't just sitting back waiting for this saga to blow over. Nah, he's been busy in the studio trying to flip the script. His collab project with Party Next Door, Some Sexy Songs For You, dropped recently and had heads nodding. The vibe? It's classic Drake meets that moody emotional Party Next Door touch. Smooth, yet vulnerable. Still, reception has been a mixed bag. Some fans ride hard for that sound, saying it's a return to the intimate Drake who made us feel the pain and flex at the same time. But others feel like he's playing it too safe, like these tracks don't bring anything new to the table or push the culture's boundaries. It's like people are wondering if Drizzy is stuck in reruns rather than breaking new ground. And trust me, when you're used to being the trendsetter, hearing your work label safe got a sting. Then there's the big talk about his upcoming solo album, Iceman. The hype is real, but the nerves are too. Has Drake still got what it takes to drop a monster hit that slaps across streaming platforms and club speakers? Early leaks had fans split. Some say it sounds like Drake's doubling down with hard bars and smooth flows, ready to remind the game he's still the king. Others feel that the drama's weighing heavy on his energy, and this project might just be a placeholder until he figures out his next real move. It's that kind of anticipation where everyone's watching close to see if the album's going to be a comeback year or another L added to the mix. And with everything else going on, that release is going to be more than music. It's a statement. People are asking, can Drake still command the culture's attention, or is the seat getting warm for someone else? Fan reactions are where things get even more wild. Social media turned into a battleground. On one side, you got Drake's ride or die supporters spamming comment sections and creating memes to hype him up. They believe the feud and drama are just distractions, that Drizzy's legacy is untouchable and he's gonna bounce back stronger. On the flip, the shade throwers and casual fans ain't holding back either. Plenty got jokes, disses, and all that internet clout thrown at Drake, especially with how the Kendrick feud exploded online. It's like watching a soap opera with meme power. What's crazy is this feud reached a level beyond just music. It became a cultural showdown that had people picking sides for what feels like more than just hits or bars, but for who represents the soul of hip-hop's future. Loyalty is splitting, and comment sections look like online battlefields. Some wonder if these divides in fans and culture will ever come back together, or if this is the crack that breaks the coin. So, what's next for Drake? That's the multi-million-dollar question. He's juggling a ton right now, fighting legal battles, dropping music, and managing a fan base that's more divided than ever. This moment feels like a crossroad. If Drake plays his cards right, he could use this heat and drama to fuel one of the biggest comebacks in hip-hop history. He's got the talent, the platform, and the fans that still ride for him deeply. But on the other hand, if these issues keep stacking up without a solid win in sight, it could signal the beginning of a shift, a new era without Drake steering the ship. Either way, he ain't the type to quit quietly, so expect some moves that will shock or surprise. The way this plays out is going to affect not just Drake's legacy, but the whole rap culture for years to come. All right, before we keep rolling with this deep dive, real quick, smash that like button and hit subscribe if you ain't part of the family yet. We breaking down all the layers, all the side stories most folks won't touch. And trust me, you want to be here for every twist and turn. This ain't just music shade, it's the real talk behind the scenes of one of the biggest clashes in hip-hop history. Stay locked in and let's get this. Now let's get into how this all plays out with the public vibes and fan reactions, because that's where things get extra spicy. Social media, man, it turned into a full-on battleground real quick. On one side, you got Drake's ride or die fans holding it down, flooding comment sections and TikTok threads with memes and hype to keep his name shining bright. They say the drama, just some background noise. Drizzy's legacy untouchable, and he's about to bounce back harder than ever. Those supporters ride like the tide, no matter the storm, ready to back him up with every track and tweet. But flip the coin, and you feel the other side. The folks out here throwing shade like it's a sport, making jokes, clapping back hard, especially after Kendrick started firing shots. That trimmed down trust got social media turning wild with debates, jokes, and clips that made this feud look less like a rap spat and more like a cultural spectacle. This battle transcended music. It became like watching two legends duking it out for the very soul of the culture. Fans started picking sides like it's some kind of war for hip-hop's crown. It's like this: loyalty got split hard, comment threads bubbling hotter than a track in the club heat, and some sections straight up look like battlegrounds. You got folks saying Drake's still the king, others swearing Kendrick's the real deal for hip-hop's future. The way these conversations move makes you wonder if this split in fandom is something that's gonna flex out, or if this crack gonna grow wider and reshape how we roll in the scene. The social sway is as big a deal as the music now, maybe even bigger because it's about perception, reputation, and who's winning hearts alongside streams. And that public tension is a clear mirror of where Drake is currently standing. His career's at this moment where the stakes ain't just about dropping hits anymore. It's about whether that influence and legacy can survive all this heat. Fans are watching closely, ready to celebrate a comeback or call out an L if he keeps slipping. Kind of feels like that moment in the hood when everybody's got eyes on the next move. Will the king hold or will the throne shift? That type of vibe affects how well your music streams, how much you get booked, and the brand clout you carry long term. What's wild is that despite all this, a bunch of folks still believe Drake's got the sauce to flip the script. That belief ties into what's next for Drizzy. The way I see it, this ain't a simple crossroads. It's a full-on intersection with no easy detour. Drake's juggling lawsuits, beef, and music releases all at once. He's facing some serious questions. Is he going to channel this drama as fuel for the next big wave? Or will this pressure crumble what took years to build? The industry's watching too, not just fans. Labels, promoters, and collaborators are asking whether to keep riding with him or start scouting for fresh faces. The music scene's brutal like that. One misstep and your spot gets ghosted quick. But don't sleep on Drake. Dude's one of the most calculated men in the game. He ain't about to fold or fade quietly. Expect him to strategize heavy, maybe drop some surprise projects, or hit the scene with collaborations that remind everyone who's boss. And that upcoming album, Iceman, might be the litmus test for all this. If that joint hits the mark, it could silence a lot of doubters and calm the storm for a minute. But if it's just okay or worse, a flop, then that narrative about Drake losing steam might start to stick for real. It's a big moment, not just for him, but for the culture, watching how one of rap's biggest faces handles facing serious pushback. The pressure's real, and that anticipation got fans on edge. Iceman ain't just an album, it's a statement. Drake's staying power or the beginning of a new chapter. And from what I'm seeing, every track is gonna be dissected for meaning, for hitting shots, for signs of where he stands in all this mess. Look, while all this unfolds, one thing is clear. Drake's impact on the game is undeniable. He revolutionized the way multiple genres blend, brought emotional openness to the rap game, and built bridges across crowds that used to be separated. But legacy is a tricky thing. It ain't just about what you did, but what you keep doing when the spotlight heats up. The Kendrick beef, the UMG lawsuit, the diminished chart presence, they're all testing moments for him. It's like life's way of seeing if he's still got that heart and hustle, or if his era's quietly sliding into the history books. And that's why so many folks got glued to this saga. We ain't just witnessing music drama. We're watching a potential power shift in hip-hop itself. So where does that leave us? Fans, critics, industry players, we all got to watch and decide what matters more, the music or the drama behind it. Drake's moves next could either restore the calm or escalate the chaos. And yeah, that's exciting and scary all at once, because we don't know if this saga ends with a triumphant W or a series of L's stacked against one of the biggest names in rap history. Before I let y'all go, real talk. Smash that like, hit subscribe, and turn on those notifications. You don't want to miss what we got coming next on this story, because trust me, the tea's gonna keep spilling. We're diving deeper, unmasking layers the media won't touch, breaking down the fires that are shaping the future of hip-hop. You already know how we do, keeping it 100, bringing that real talk to the surface, and making sure you're ahead of the curve. Stay tuned, fam. The saga ain't over, and honestly, it's just getting started. Now, comma, fam. Let's get honest. This whole Drake versus the industry, the Kendrick beef, the lawsuit drama, it all paints a picture of a king under siege. Not the usual hype or clout battles we used to rock with. This is real beneath the surface pressure testing him, and that pressure can break a lot, or it can forge a new kind of legend. See, the music game ain't just bars and beats no more. It's contracts, streams, social vibes, legal chess, and legacy maintenance all mixed into one. For Drake, this moment is the ultimate test to prove if he's just another artist riding a wave or the kind of icon who bends the wave to his will. And speaking of legacy, that's the real talk we gotta face when we look at all this heat. Drake did more than just stack hits. He shifted the entire culture's mood, from blending rap and R&B smoother than anyone before to making vulnerability cool in a game that used to flex only hard and cold. His impact's massive, no debate. But legacy ain't freeze frame. It's a slow motion story that keeps building or bends under pressure. When people talk about Kendrick and Drake right now, they're not just talking about who dropped the hotter verse. They're talking about respect, authenticity, and power in hip hop's new chapter. It's that huge. These two represent different vibes, different philosophies, and now different paths to the throne. We ain't just watching a battle, we're watching how the culture might evolve. Will the squad who vibes with Kendrick's raw artistry and underground roots grow stronger? Will Drake's blend of smooth hooks and hit-making formulas adapt to stay on top? Or is this the moment when the industry itself starts shifting, where labels, streaming platforms, and fan culture get rewritten because of this drama? That's some next-level stakes. Not just a beef, but an era-defining clash that could redraw the rap map for years. Looking back at the UMG mess, it's also a spotlight on the power players pulling strings behind the curtain. The lawsuit shines a harsh light on how these mega labels can control the narrative, playing favorites, playing dirty, or gaslighting artists to protect their investments. It's a wake-up call for artists and fans alike. Y'all better pay attention to who's really got the power when the music stops. And trust me, if Drake can bring the receipts and win that battle, it could open doors for artists to demand better respect and transparency, shifting the entire game's power balance. That could be a massive W for the culture if it pops off. But on the flip side, if this all backfires on Drake and UMG flexes their muscle, it could send a cold message. Stay in line, play the game by their rules, or get cut off. That's a hardcore L for artist independence, especially for rappers who want to keep it real while climbing the charts. So this lawsuit is more than a clash between a rapper and a label. It's a microcosm for a much bigger struggle in the industry. A struggle about freedom, control, respect, and who really runs the show behind all the hits. And yo, While we riding all these legal and cultural waves, the music gotta still hit. That's why some sexy songs For You and the upcoming Iceman matter so much. They're not just projects, they're Drake's statements in audio form. But if you ask me, he's walking a tightrope. On one side, the pressure to keep that mega hit streak alive. On the other, the weight of all this drama trying to drag him down. His fans want that old magic, that signature vibe that made Drake the friendly king who could vibe with anybody from the club to the heart. But the critics want growth, evolution, something fresh that feels earned, not just recycled. And balancing fans' expectations while handling real-life heat, that's one big skill test. Looking ahead, Iceman feels like it could either be the comeback story or a somber reminder that even kings can lose their crown. And the fact that the early buzz is so mixed, that's exactly what makes this moment so juicy. Because the stakes are crazy high, not just for Drake's career, but for how hip-hop judges as legends during times of real crisis, not just concerts and tours. We might be watching a classic fall or a legendary rise right in front of our eyes. Now, as we wrap this up, the public eye on Drake's saga isn't just about entertainment, it's about how hip-hop handles its icons when they look human, when the drama gets messy, and when the path forward ain't clear. Fans split, rumors fly, memes explode, and through it all, the culture shifts. Some want to see Drake fall, others want to ride that wave with him to the end. What this all boils down to is respect, the kind that's earned every day by staying true and breaking new ground, not just by stacking hits. And that's the lesson here for everyone watching. So as we stand here watching Drake's story unfold, remember this ain't just a celebrity beef or industry drama, it's the crossroads of hip-hop's next era, where legends get tested and new kings rise, where real moves get rewarded and fake flexes get exposed, and where you gotta be ready to ride the highs and lows with the culture that raised you. Fam, if you vibed with this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button hard and get subscribed. We got more heat coming, deeper looks into these stories no one else wanna touch, and the real on everything from the streets to the boardrooms. Don't sleep on this. Stay locked in, bring your thoughts in the comments, and keep it 100 with the fam. Because this saga, it ain't just about Drake or Kendrick. It's about what hip-hop means today and where it's headed tomorrow. The throne's still hot, but the seat's shaking. Who's gonna sit down and who's gonna stand tall? Only time gonna tell. But you best believe we're gonna be here every step, bringing you the inside scoop no one else dares to spill. Stay woke, stay tuned, and let's keep this conversation lit. That's all for now. Peace.